Mount Rushmore of pussies. Red from Maine. Ziggy Robinson.
Right.
Steve from Gloucester. Daver from Hull.
All right, we are back. Mount Kirkmore. We are joined by very special guest, Greg Poehler. How are you?
Hey guys, I'm excited. I gotta be honest. I now that I'm seeing you two, I thought I was gonna be doing the rundown.
Yeah.
It's a bit
Well,
embarrassing.
We got Greg Bits here today. Greggy Bits. Yeah. Which rundown? There's a new rundown, a new better rundown.
I thought I saw someone with a dog mask, and I realized it's just McFuss Daddy. I can't really put my contacts in. No, but it's good to be here. It's my network debut, so I'm looking forward to contributing as any way I can.
Yes, welcome. Well, it's great to have you. We are drafting shocking moments of the show. So, there's a pretty big catalog. I think I got like 20 on my list. So we can get right into the wheel.
Also kind of a hard one. Yeah. Let's wheel it.
You think it's hard?
Who's going to go first? It was kind of a hard one. I mean, I didn't really think about it until earlier, but I think I got a good list. Oh, I'm first. I've never gone first. I've never gone first, and Greg's never been on the network. This is huge. Big.
A wheel of three is very sad. All right, I'll go last. Here we go.
All right.
Greg, you like my shirt, by the way?
What is it? Oh, wow. It's collector's item.
Yes.
Yeah. They just barely lost, I think. No.
I put him on the ballot.
All right. Well, I guess I'll just jump right into my first.
First of all, sorry to interrupt. Can we define what we're talking about with shocking? Do you guys have a definition in mind, or are we just going with our own, whatever we consider to be shocking?
It's pretty broad. What I'm thinking is like parts of the show that you just did not expect happening, that were like totally out of the blue, that were like, holy shit, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
I can give you an example if you want.
No, it's all right. I just wanted to know if I was on the right track, but I think my list jives with what you're talking about.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
All right, Fussy.
Yeah, like when you were listening, you went, you're like, oh my God. But my first pick is going to be my first pick. I mean, I got to go chalk here. It's got to be Steve leaving, because that fucking came out of nowhere. He just all of a sudden was like, yeah, I'm going on leave, but I'm actually quitting my job. I think I called in on his final one and tried to argue with him for a little while to get him to stay, because he was my favorite. But as we know, he took off for America.
Yeah, it's hard. There's a lot of producers leaving episodes. You could have to choose from. But yeah, I think that was the first, because that really came out of nowhere. Wasn't it the first few minutes of that episode too, right? You just kind of dropped that bomb.
Yeah. So I think how it went was he goes, Steve mentioned, he's like, I'm not going to Madawaska. And he's like, yeah, you are. What? Why not? He's like, I'm taking leave. And then it just went from there. And it was must listen. I loved it. But I miss Steve, because Steve was the best. You're right. I miss the Steve days for sure.
Steve actually did quit. I think when you re-listen to that Cullinane quitting, it was definitely more of a forced quit. I re-listened to that a few weeks after, I remember, and it was Kirk really set the stage for it was a mutual breakup. Right? You're basically quitting, right? It's like, yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about doing something else. So
you need to start looking for another job.
Yeah, exactly. No.
Yeah.
It's like the opposite of Gus, who could never get the hint of just saying okay, I'm out of here.
Even worse, I think he got the hint, but just refused to accept it.
It's true. Yeah.
It's like, I'm not fucking leaving.
No.
That's a great 1-1.
All right. Had to. This chalk. Greg, you were number 2, right?
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with, I was shocked the most when Kirk let Beanbag Ron up off the mat and didn't totally bury him in his one appearance on the show. I think as a listener, I know I wanted him to be buried like yellow shirt guy, big time.
I know you did.
There was that opportunity to have you just be sitting there in silence for 2 hours, and then have to go back here on the network and just kind of try to redeem yourself, however that would look over the next couple of months. So as a listener, I felt like I was kind of deprived of that. I'm not sure why he gave you a reprieve, but he did, and yeah, for me that was a shocking, un-Kirk-like move. And I think if he would have that back, he would take it back.
Yeah, immediately.
But basically, I just wanted to bring that up just to ask you, Ron, what were you? I mean, you've probably discussed this on the network before, but what were you thinking in that moment? Was that an actual diss or?
No, not at all. No, it was literally just word vomit. I fucked up so bad saying that. I was like, because you remember, I just asked Julie if she was commentating because I was just generally curious, and I just total unawareness by me. I just struck a nerve, and then my heart was just pounding, and I was like, oh no, like that. I've heard Kirk like bury people so many times, and I was like, this is actually me being buried. It wasn't the best feeling in the world. But I bounced back, and like you said, like you wanted me to be like yellow shirt guy, and then have to try to redeem myself on the network. I've been trying that this whole time. It's not working.
Not working. Well, thank you. I don't know if that was actually shocking. I just wanted to have to hear you.
No, that's a great pick right there. That's an incredible pick. Ron, if you didn't take that notebook in and have that game, you probably would be excommunicated or something by now.
Yep. Yeah, I would have been off the face of the earth. That's probably right. Yeah, not my best moment. But listen.
But I mean, it made for good content.
Did it though?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, it did. Yeah. I love your run.
I've never listened to it back, and I never plan on listening.
I kind of love that's what I love about Kirk's show. It just shows that just kind of delve into uncomfortability in general. I love those moments. So as long as it's not me, I kind of get off on that. So yeah, I'd like for you to be back, and maybe we can have another one of those moments.
Yeah, sure. Anything for you, Greg.
Maybe this time he won't let you talk at all, which would be great.
Yeah, I'll put my dignity on the line just for your entertainment anytime.
Perfect. Thank you.
Great pick, I guess.
That wasn't. Were you going to take that? Did I take that just before you did, or?
It wasn't on my list.
It wasn't on my list. Okay.
No, but I think the fans will like that.
All right.
All right. Well, I will go my first pick. A little different. I will go Steve pissing in a bottle and during the show, and Kirk like finding it and then leaving, like, shutting the show down and then coming back, bringing everyone back in for like another 15 minutes of like dissecting why Steve was pissing on the show, why he couldn't just get up and go to the bathroom. It was fucking hilarious. That's why the show's great.
That's a good one. Because I mean, that certainly is one where everyone was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's more like puzzling. I don't know if it's shocking, but it was definitely one of the stranger bits.
Definitely a shocking moment. Terrible pick, though, Ron. You could have got that way later. Yeah, I mean.
Okay. I see how the show's going.
But I guess you get to go again. So redemption, immediate
redemption. Oh, yeah, I do get to go again. Yeah. All right. Okay, I will go. We'll stick on Steve here. I'll go Steve not having audio for that the Red Sox thing when and then Kirk just buried him, called like a million people. Greg, were you one of the people he called?
No.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
That's it. Costs money to call all the way in.
That's true. You just $5 call in.
Yeah.
Yeah, great show.
But yeah, better pick, Ron. That's a good pick. Even I, as like an idiot, was thinking Steve would have that audio. So if he didn't, that's big time. Should have been fired.
You think? I mean, he wasn't.
No,
he wasn't suspended, but he was just degraded the entire episode. Poor Steve.
That was was it a Quantum Kirk episode as well? The death of Steve Robinson.
It was. Yeah, they did a good job.
Some network knowledge.
That's good. Yeah, you a big network guy? Do you listen at all?
Sure.
Okay.
I don't know. It sounds like you're more plugged in than like Jeff Lowe and Carrabas and everybody else.
Give me a fucking break with Jeff Lowe as Minifet of the Year. I mean, give me a break with that.
Thank you.
Yes, Greg. I totally fucking agree.
Come on. I mean, I listen to every episode. That's for sure. I don't listen to as much
of this
because I'm busy with my everyday life. But I think Manners has done an amazing job. He treats the CEO position with the exact amount of seriousness it deserves.
Wow. Did he email you that earlier? Or did he send you that by DM?
No, But yeah, no, I think, every now and then I'll check it. I think the Quantum Kirk guys and you guys are definitely the best shows on the network. I mean, the rundown fucking sucks.
Thank you. That means a lot. What about you're not
I know my audience. I know my audience.
Steve from Gloucester.
Steve from Gloucester. He's not my
nice guy.
I mean, I actually had him. When we were talking about other topics, I had a bunch of Steve from Gloucester stuff. Like for me, like the first time I heard his podcast, that was the first time I was legitimately scared for Kirk. Like I was like, this guy's dangerous. I mean, he's really into it, and he really thinks like they're friends. And that Kirk would heed his advice for some reason. And then he sent that letter, which is also, I mean, it's so stalkerish that it makes me uncomfortable almost. But since then he's kind of rebounded, and it turns out he's just kind of a maybe somewhat delusional fan. Yeah, so I have listened to the Consistency podcast. I love the fact that the name of the podcast is one of the hardest things for someone with a lisp to say. You would think that he would have chosen a different title for it.
And it's ironic because it changes all the time. There's nothing consistent about it. But we love Steve.
Yeah. But I'm sure I'm a Steve guy.
He's going to love that. He's so hard right now. All right. Who we got? Did I just go?
Yeah.
So you just back to Greg.
Yeah. Okay.
As far as the moment that made me like, with your definition that you used at the beginning, when it was like, holy shit. I often listen to Kirk when I'm walking my dog. And I remember exactly the spot I was in when this happened. I think it was in late 2020 and, right in the middle of pandemic time. And that was when Kirk was prank calling his dad's old number, and he got the woman with cancer.
Oh, yeah.
Because that sequence is, I think these Quantum Kirk guys did an episode on, which I haven't seen, but I'm sure it delves into this even more. But if memory serves me correctly, it was something with Tom Brady got questioned about having sex with his wife on game day or something, and
yeah. One of the radio stations was asking him that.
Yeah, so it was kind of like a sophomoric prank call anyway. Just like call up someone, ask if they had sex last night with their husband, or on game day or something like that. And it was like, sir, this is a hospital. And then Kirk says, "Are you dying?" She says, "Yeah."
What are the fucking odds? That was unbelievable.
Yes, I have cancer.
I have cancer.
That's an all-time drop too.
I mean, that was, I can remember exactly like the street I was on when I heard that, because that was unbelievable. Or like, what a turn of events from like, hey, let's call my dad's old number to like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
And then they talked to her for like 10 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, you had to. There, what are you going to do? Like, oh, okay, sorry. And just hang up. But it was, and he handled it pretty well. I mean, after that, I think, talked with her for a bit and obviously showed some sympathy and empathy as one would in that circumstance, and tried to get her on board. But that was incredible. You couldn't have asked for a better setting for a prank call.
I think he asked her if they could call back, and she was like, no, I think I'm good.
Yeah, exactly.
No, he asked if he could like help out in any way, like charity wise, and she was like, no, just let me die in peace, please.
Yeah, I know. Just please don't call here again.
That's a good one.
That's a great.
I had that on my list.
Greg. I'm impressed. That's good.
All right, well, I'll go ahead and make my next one. I'm gonna go. We'll stick with the death theme here. I'm gonna go with Jon Stewart being dead. Because he came out of nowhere. They did a whole freaking show about it because everybody was so surprised. So I think that's got to be up there. I'm going chalk. Y'all are going fun ones. I'm taking the chalk.
That's a good pick. I had it on my list. That was good. Jon Stewart was one of those callers where he would just call in and I would just stop what I was doing and just listen like intently because he was just such a gem. And then when it came out that he died, and it was like 4 months later, it was like, holy shit, why did we know about this?
Yeah, that's the craziest part. It was so much longer later. He had to be in chats and stuff, but who knows?
I forget. Was that news broken actually on the show, or did people find out beforehand?
So someone found out and tweeted the obituary. I forget who it was.
It may have been Ziggy. I bet it was Ziggy.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah,
could have been.
That's a bummer. I mean, the Jon Stewart calls were amazing.
So good.
I mean, it was literally like just for him and Kirk, but it was just like listening in on two guys having a conversation.
All aboard.
For their purposes.
Yeah. And him just not caring about the other's opinion either.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll go ahead and make my next one. It's going to be when Steve called Tsarnaev's landlord, just out of nowhere. For some reason, he had his phone number, the terrorist. But that's what the producers now need to take a page out of Steve's playbook there and get like Saddam Hussein's brother's number or something.
That's a good one.
That's what I love about Steve, though, is that like he was just so fucking weird and quirky like that he, like the number he decided to call was that of all people. I mean, it's just like you can't write that shit. That is fucking gold. That's great.
Yeah, I was more of a Cullinane guy. I am more of a Cullinane guy than Steve guy. Obviously, I think it probably has to do with our political leanings.
Probably a little bit, yeah.
And I think like Justin's kind of falling into that trap a bit now too, where all of his stories are, right wing stuff that he gets off of.
Well, it's election year. It's election year. I don't think he's a political guy.
But I think, am I next? By the way, so,
yeah. Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I can talk because mine kind of dovetails into that, which is I think when Steve, it was shocking to me when he scrubbed the audio of the past episodes with his mentions of his family and stuff.
Yeah.
Which I think got him suspended by Kirk.
Sure did.
That was what it was, right? Because that for me was like, I think you guys and everyone, all of Minute fans kind of wax poetically about this Steve years. And I enjoyed Steve as well. But there were times, especially early on, when I felt like Steve didn't quite get it. Like didn't get the Kirk's, brand of comedy humor, what like style, what they were going for with this show. And that was certainly one. I mean, the fact that he would go back and take out parts of episodes alluding to his, and it wasn't even really bad stuff, I don't think, about his family, just the mere mention of them. So I mean, for me, that there were times like that where Steve was kind of wanting the show to go in a different direction or wasn't quite getting it. I think he got better at it as time went on. Whereas for me, both Steve and Cullinane were kind of dummies to a certain extent. And Steve was a dummy who thought he was really smart, and Cullinane was a dummy who just knew right from the gate,
Yeah, he's a more
unabashedly, I'm a dummy, which I think works better for Kirk's show, at least in my estimation. But so that was my third shocking moment.
No, that's a good take. It's a miracle. Looking back on it now, I guess really it is a miracle Steve didn't get fired, like especially after not having that audio. I know people hated him forever, and he hated the Minifans, but I don't know. Maybe we should have got Cully earlier.
Maybe. I mean, I will defend Steve in this way though. Like he didn't know how the show didn't have a blueprint like immediately. Maybe it did. Like maybe they obviously like talked about how the structure was going to be and stuff. But like I don't think Steve knew Kirk like and listened to him at EEI as much as he let on. So like when he mentioned that his family was off limits or something like that, and Kirk just buried him for like half an hour straight.
Was that the very first episode, like ever?
No,
it was a little bit later on, I think.
It
may have been
episodes
a few in. Yeah,
because Mike was there, and then Mike's friend Kingpin Pete came on later.
I mean, there's shades of that now with the Coleman experience. I have to say, like it's like I think partly because he didn't listen as much or ever.
Never
until recently, where he just kind of is not like in sync with like the brand of humor and what all of us maniacs are looking forward to when you see these shows. So I do think that I mean he'll get it, also, but there's kind of a growing pain period when they start out, which Cullinane didn't have because he just hit the ground running really.
Yeah, that's I like Coleman now. I used to not like Coleman, but I'm in on Coleman. I think there's some kind of a CCP acronym to make with his name, like the Coleman Camp Posse or something. I don't know, but I'm trying to figure that out. I can't put it all together yet.
He is coming along though. I think he's definitely adjusting pretty well.
I think he's getting better on air, but like technically, I mean the fucking show's fucking up all the time.
That is the crazy part.
The technical guy. And I mean, I watch on YouTube all the time. I think it started on time maybe once in the last 2 weeks. I don't understand what's going on there. It's weird that maybe Gus was the brains behind that operation.
Well, it's weird that like Cullinan did YouTube episodes too, and that I don't remember it ever being an issue with him.
Yeah,
so I don't know why they don't just use the same.
Cullinan was remarkably capable in retrospect.
Cullinan really sabotaged it on his way out. He changed all the settings.
Totally did.
Right, Ron, you're number 3 and 4.
All right, my next pick, Greg. I think you might appreciate this one. So it's going back to Cullinan was producing. They called Howie Carr, and Howie Carr's wife just popped on and told him to get off the phone. And like the whipped guy he is, he was like, "Oh yes, sorry, I have to go." And then following that was intern Harrison calling the show and bitching about not getting paid or something like that. That was a great listen. Howie Carr's wife just coming in and hating Cullinan, hating Kirk.
Bitch.
Yeah. I mean, that's similar to the hospital moment. Especially when you're listening, like in podcast form or something. All of a sudden, she gets you hear in the background. Who are you talking to?
Hang on,
get off the phone now. Get off the phone now. I'll tell you later.
Yeah, that should be like part of the intro or something. That get off the phone now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's shocking they used to have an intro. I mean, that shipping up to Boston thing, where yelling. I mean, that people forget about that. I wish.
Yeah,
good pick, Ron.
What about that? Me?
No, Ron, I got my last pick here. Snaking.
2 snakes.
I'll go. So when I don't know if it was Sirius or not, like the Sirius radio when he did that for a brief period of time. But so when K Marco called in and they played that cunt song.
Oh yeah.
For him, and K Marco just had to sit there and take it. That was fucking awesome.
That's one of my favorite all-time show moments, I think.
Me too, for sure.
Cunt. And he likes his girls to be underage.
He's like, how'd you like that song, K Marco?
You're forced to stay on the line while it's happening.
Yeah. And credit to him, he did.
Yeah.
That's a great number 4, Ron.
Thank you.
That's a good one.
All right, I'll go with I don't know if it's shocking per se, but for me it's shocking in the sense that like for me it was one of those moments where I was like, holy shit, this show, and it's Tommy Quinlan coming out of the closet.
Oh, you motherfucker. That's what I was about to take.
What I loved about that episode was the first time, when he protested too much, at the beginning when he was like, why do you have to ask that, Kirk? I again was listening saying like, oh no, this guy's obviously in the closet, because generally straight people don't react that way when you ask them, are you dating anyone? I'm like, come on guys, do we have to really bring that up? So I actually felt bad for him, and then I think either Kirk or Mike's flat out asked him, are you gay? And he was like, no, I'm not. Like he was really defensive about it. I was like, oh, he's really deeply in the closet. And then somehow over the course of the next, 25 minutes, he's openly coming out to I don't know, what led to that, but it was an amazing show moment just for him to be going like, to be vociferously anti, no, I'm not. What are you talking about? I love women to, I'm gay. And I thought it was a really nice show moment, to be honest, but shocking in the sense of like, this fucking show is unbelievable. I mean, the things that can be done over the course of a 30-minute span. And it's really an example of like, why I think a lot of us, or all of us that's probably listening to this, love the show is it's impossible to tell something. If you're like, someone's like, what are you listening to? You'd be like, I'm listening to a guy who's trying out for a producer search, who is now having this kind of like really beautiful moment where he's coming out, I think, to the world and to his parents, and they call his parents and stuff. It's like, it's impossible to describe, but it was quite the episode experience. And
that's such a good pick. That could have went 1-1, honestly. Yeah, shocking wise, fuck yeah, that's right up there, man.
It's crazy that he came out and then he just kind of like faded in the producer search, and he was an afterthought by the end of it. And, I mean, he put his whole life on the line working at conservative radio.
It was like for nothing, you know.
For nothing.
True, but for the better. His parents probably don't talk to him anymore. But he,
No, I mean,
like you said, it was so funny. He went from like being straight to like 20 minutes later, he's talking about how he like prefers black dick and stuff like that. It was like,
well, what's interesting about Quinlan is he had a pretty horrible show up until that point. And I think everybody was like, this guy sucks. And I was like, oh, this guy's great. He's willing to come out, you know, he's willing to share. This is going to be a great, you know, jumping off point. And then I was like, no, he peaked. He peaked.
Yeah. No, he's still very good.
He peaked 20 minutes into his first appearance.
You being gay is the only interesting thing about you. So nothing else works.
Oh man, tough. Great pick. Great draft, Greg.
Yeah, that is great. Except your first pick.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and make my last one. Got some good ones here, but I'm gonna go. I was genuinely shocked when Steve revealed that Elias wasn't a real person that he was staying with. Maybe I was just like a dumb, naive person back then, just believing everything they said. But I could have sworn there's an Argentinian guy that was cooking fish for Steve like every night they were in Miami.
Yeah, that was some sociopathic shit. I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's a great pick because that is one of those moments where, as a listener, you're like, "What the what?"
Yeah, like, how do you know that name? Yeah,
I felt like they've been talking about Elias for weeks, like up to that point.
Yeah,
but he doesn't
like
exist.
In-depth stories.
It was like a Kaiser Soze moment of like,
yeah,
oh, Steve's Elias.
Like, this guy's scheduled to come on the show in 3 weeks. What the fuck? Oh man,
I love how they were talking about that too, like the night before at dinner, and Mike said he was like the most shocked he's ever been when Steve was like, yeah, obviously it was fake. Like, he didn't even like tell them it was fake before.
Wow.
And people still found out where he was staying anyways. I think they still figured it out. So
they did.
+1 for the Minifans, yeah. Well, that's all the picks. I'll run back through what we had for the people. I've seen some complaints about that. So I had Steve quitting, Jon Stewart dying, Zarnaev, phone call, and Elias. Greg, which might be the best draft, had Kirk letting Beanbag Ron off the mat during his episode, the cancer lady, Steve scrubbing the audio, and Quinlan coming out and ruining his life. And then Ron, who had bounced back from recent drafts, had Steve pissing in the bottle, Steve not having the audio from the Red Sox, Howie Carr's wife making them hang up, and K. Marco calling in and having to listen to that cunt song about him. Those are good drafts.
Yeah, it's a good episode.
I got some honorable mentions too.
Let's hear them.
Justin's car being filthy.
Disgusting.
You remember when Kevin from Bristol called in and was like berating Justin like total maniac?
And he was actually mad about that was funny.
Yeah, like legitimately mad.
I gotta see. I mean, this wasn't show related, but also, you know, Tim from Kent when he got furious when he got kicked out of the car when the restless leg syndrome, and then got super angry at Justin to drive him home. That's off show, but to me that was one of the most shocking. I didn't know he had that side to him.
I was sitting right beside him. I was shocked. I couldn't fucking believe it. That was unbelievable.
Foss was terrified.
I'm still shocked. I kind of was. I thought he was going to fight everybody.
How long were you in that car for? What was the final total?
12 hours.
Wow.
12 hours on the minute.
Wow. Yeah. Time well spent.
Yeah, it really was.
It led to this. Moment.
Yeah.
Really did.
No.
I had Clemmer choosing to go to the Celtics with his friend and not showing up the next day, or planning to not come on the show the next day because he was going to the Celtics. I had the $30,000.
That could have been a 1-1.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so we got Steve pissing in the bottle from Beanbag Ron.
I love that video. I've seen it like 10 times.
I know that was on his list, and he still went with the piss with the pig.
Listen, I mean that's a boring pick though. The 30,000 thing. How many times has that been talked about? It's like, Blind Mike crying. Julie saying she had vivid dreams about snuggling with Kirk.
That was interesting. She's like the female Steve from Gloucester. delusions of friendship and.
Yeah, that was extremely uncomfortable.
I was just sad, I thought.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
And then drunk blind Mike at Madawaska.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. I had one on one of the episodes that I was on where the Jason Priestley episode. It was definitely not shocking to the viewer, but it was to me because I had set it up beforehand with that he was going to call in, and literally 1 minute into the show, Kirk starts talking about Jason Priestley like randomly.
So he didn't know.
No, he didn't know. So I was going to have him just call in and then right when he called, I was going to say, "Hey, you have 3 minutes, Jason," just to get him directly on the spot. But then a minute into the show, he literally starts talking about Jason Priestley. Not even just once, he kept on bringing it up. It was like a 2 minute thing. So I looked over at Colin and I was like, I gotta mention this.
That is wild.
By the way, he's calling in later. It's funny you're mentioning him because he'll be talking with him in a few hours. The only other one that I had on my list was when Kirk took his mental health break after Sacco. Just because, I don't know, as a listener, obviously, as with anyone, you never know what people are going through, health-wise. But that show seemed to be, I wasn't there, but it seemed to be so successful and happy and kumbaya and the height of his career, and then to hear that he was taking a break after that was it just goes to show you, and it can strike at any time. So
it goes to show you don't ever know.
Yeah, that's obviously I didn't choose that one because it's such a downer.
I was gonna say it's not a fun pick.
The most fun mental health pick would be still doing that interview with the Sopranos guys right after he announced mental health leave. That's just a wild interview.
I did write down Pompous Moltisanti on there.
Yeah,
but I was shocking. Not really.
No.
Great character, but did you guys like the other interviews? The Robert Eiler and
I liked it. I like the interviews.
Yeah.
I like Robert Eiler. I actually think he probably listens now. He'd probably come on here. He's such a Barstool guy. He's got nothing going on. He plays poker all day.
I think Kirk's an amazing interview. I wasn't necessarily interested in what those two were up to, but
is he a right winger I don't know about?
No, I mean, I love the show.
The secret right winger like Vince Vaughn.
Yeah. My Vince Vaughn stories, right? But I think the best part of that interview for me was the Steve from Gloucester question.
Oh my god!
But no fucking ZD now.
Perfect. For me, I would have really tuned in if he was running that whole. I mean, that whole interview from start to finish.
The whole hour,
100%.
Yeah, I mean. Did you have a good time? Did you not have a good time? What was your favorite episode? What was your least favorite episode? I enjoy listening to the Consistency podcast just to hear how long he can just dwell on one thought.
Oh yeah.
It's almost like back in school when you were trying to fill the lines on the essay portion.
Making the periods a little bit bigger. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we hit 12 mints. Good. Done.
Does Kirk need a producer? Does he not need a producer? Will he need a producer?
Could I do it?
Yeah. It's dude, we're all. It's filled up now. I can hand in my test.
Well, Greg, we appreciate you coming on, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, really do.
Thanks for figuring out the time difference. It's 4 a.m. in Sweden right now.
Oh, is it really?
No.
Oh, I was gonna say it's 8 o'clock, right?
It's Greg's on a bender. Yeah.
Been up all night trying to come up with shocking moments from the.
Well, we appreciate that.
Yeah, big time. This is great. Hope to see you on other shows.
Yeah, we hope to make it work. Shout out to everybody else on the network. And I was joking about the rundown guys. They do good stuff.
Yeah, VD's rundown was great. The other one.
Yeah, they're good guys.
Yep.
All right, guys.
All right. We'll be back next week.